Hello. One of the things that I kept struggling with that I still don't understand, because I guess here I understand it now because I've learned and I've read and seen enough, but I used to just say, why don't they just be a player in life? Man, woman, whichever the narcissist is. Oh, baby. Why can't they just be a player then? Why do they have to pick on us? Like, I remember saying one time to my narcissist, I'm a good kid. Like, don't play with me. Because he reeked of being a player when I met him. Reeked of it. And player is a word that's old. We've all heard that, right? I didn't realize he was much more than a player. I thought I was dealing with an amateur player and that I was going to change him and tame him and make him see the light, and love with me is so good he's going to give up that life. I didn't realize that there was a disorder under this, right? So before you realize it, and even once you realize it, I was just like, why can't you just, he couldn't answer me. Because I asked him, why do you keep having to be with relationships? I don't understand. I think now I understand. They need all of the parts of the experience that we provide for them. They need, being a player out in the world and going from thing to thing to thing, relationship to relationship, person to person. Say they were a real just player and they just slept with this person and then slept with that person and then slept with, no harm, no foul. I hope you're picking other narcissists and you're just sleeping with them and you're not wooing them into a relationship and making them feel that this is a permanency and making them feel you love them, and you're just finding people that you're shacking up with left and right, blah, 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 blah. Knock yourselves out. That would be no harm, no foul. As long as everyone's protected and nobody's getting themselves into anything, nasty. That would not quench their need to watch someone fall for them. It would not quench their need to receive what they feel they're entitled to have. The player life would not represent to them the fabulousness that they are trying to convey is their life. That's why a lot of narcissists has a wife at home as a home base, the anchor. So they have a wife as a home base, keeping the kids straight, keeping the house right, having dinners on Sunday, holidays, and they're off gallivanting doing their narcissistic injury to everybody in the world. Well, a narcissistic injury is what we cause them, but you know what I'm saying. They're out there harming left, right, and center every single person they come in contact with. They want that picture, even though they're carrying on over here, they want the picture of things being fabulous. They don't want to go through life being regarded as a callous, shallow cad. That goes against the picture of what they're trying to present to the world, to their parents, to their children. They want their friends to see that they live here and have this and come over for a barbecue. And meanwhile, last week he's in Texas with 4 other women and screeched in at midnight just before the barbecue to make nice and make it look like there's a whole family. I would have no problem with someone who owned their behavior, and we've all known people, right, who are just players out in the world, and they make no apologies for it. A fictional character, just so you know what I mean by player, a fictional character, everyone has seen this show by now, Sex and the City, Samantha Jones. She makes no apologies for it. She doesn't want to get married. She loves herself more than anybody else. She doesn't want children. She just wants to have sex everywhere with anyone, anytime she wants it. And that's it. That's a player. No problem with a person like that. She's owning it. She's not trying to get anything from anybody. She's not trying to swindle anybody. She's not trying to make anyone think she's in love with them in order to get a picture. She makes her own picture in life. Yes, this is a fictional character, but we can learn. She makes her own life, her own fabulous life, and allows whoever she has a revolving door of men. That's her choice. Female empowerment, that's her choice 100%. And if a man chose to live that way, she makes no excuses, though. She lets the people know. If a man did the same thing and he let the people know as they're coming in and it was in that vein and that kind of way, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. But when you are trying to live like you have this life over here and you're carrying on, that's a problem. My ex-narcissist told me right out, here's another red flag I ignored, that he had cheated through the entirety of two, not one, two, 15-year marriages. And that was part of the love bombing. But I wasn't in love with them, and I had to marry them because each one of them got pregnant. Oh, yeah, it was a big mess. It was a mess. His life was a mess. I had to marry them. I love you. I've never been in love before. This is the first time I'm ever in love in my whole life. I didn't marry them because I love them. I married them because I had to provide for a family. And But the point is, I do believe him. He was carrying on behind their backs the whole time. But he had an anchor. He had a nice, neat little family life going on. And then he would take off and do this. And one of the first times I broke with him, it was because I started to get that sense. And I said, oh, no, you got the wrong girl. He went away for the weekend. I said, you think that's who I am? I'm going to sit home and you go away for the weekend and then what, come back here and think it's your home? Oh, no. I'm not playing house with someone. No. So that was done. I was done. Because that's not me. I'm not doing that. You want to be in this? You want to be in a relationship with me? I'm very much a relationship person. A serial monogamist, that kind of person. I'm not playing all over the place. And if you are, then go play. And I remember saying to him several times, I'm a good kid, just leave me alone. In the beginning, I said, I'm a good kid, leave me alone because you really seem like a player and just skip me if that's what you intend to do. Just skip me and move on to the next person because I'm not interested. Oh, no. Therein came the love bombing. So I even knew it enough to say, leave me alone. And I still fell for the love bombing. They can't just be a player. It would be an empty existence for them, which their existence is empty anyway, but they gain value out of watching you swoon. They gain value out of the smushing phase. They need the smushing phase of when they devalue you. They need that. They can't have that if they're just being a player and playing around. They don't have the joy of watching their tactics allow someone to swoon. They get a charge out of that. Of course they do. Ooh, my ego lured this one in. And then, for all the reasons we've learned, now they're going to go through the devaluing phase. Well, if they're a player, they can't devalue you. There's no triangulation. There's no making people jealous. There's no gaslighting. It's one and done. The girl's off, on to another person. Maybe she's a player too. You think somebody could triangulate or gaslight Samantha Jones? She's playing too. She's like, oh, girl, honey, forget it. So I just want you to realize, because Minnie, I used to beg and cry and plead and say, just go be a player. Just go sleep with different people. And I never really grasped why. They need the whole cycle. The whole narcissistic cycle. The love bombing, they need it. The devaluing, they need it. The fighting and the making up, they need it. The coming in and out of your life, they need it. The hoovering, they need it. You as a bench warmer, they need it. They need all of the whole cycle. If they're just being a player and grabbing people left and right, none of that cycle is going to be there for them. They have to have all aspects of it. They're addicted to their own cycle of dysfunction, remember. Not only were you addicted to them because of the trauma bonding and the love bombing and all of this, which we've discussed all of that, and how that is a real addiction that happens in your brain. Dopamine, cortisol, endorphins, all those things keep you on the track and on the hamster wheel of being with this person. Well, they're addicted to their own cycle. They want to relive all of those, even the painful things, because it's not painful to them. They don't feel anything. when they're smushing you into quite the devaluation. They're not upset. Oh, mine would cry and everything. They're not upset. They're trying to manipulate and control. They can't manipulate and control and have power and dominate if it's just they're being a player. And I wanted to make this video because I really did have that question. Just go be a player then. They need all of it. And they are, remember, entitled to everything they want. They're babies. They're entitled to everything. I want that. So they're going to take it. And I want that. And I'm going to take it. Well, now I want to twist you up and make you feel bad. I'm going to do that. Everything and anything they want, they'll take. And if they could just be, I respect the player more now than I ever did. You meet a player like that and they're just out there in the world playing and being themselves. They're just being themselves. They're being open and honest. And to go back to Samantha Jones, she was an open, honest person about how she lived her life. She wasn't fooling anybody. She wasn't hurting anybody. She wasn't lying to anybody. She was open and honest even with her friends about how she was living her life. It's ownership. I respect somebody like that. Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's no danger in hooking up with somebody like that because they're not selling you something that isn't there. The narcissist is selling you things that aren't there. They're lying with every breath. They can't just go be a player. It would not satisfy or quench their thirst for all of the angles of their cycle that they need. So the next time you ask yourself, or you're trying to ask your narcissist, why don't you just go and do and be? That's why they're going to get involved with another girlfriend right away. That's why the new supply is going to be a new girlfriend. It's not just going to be they're just going to go play. Now they're finally free, they're going to go play. No. I said to my narcissist, you're getting a second divorce. Don't you want to just go out into the world and play? Oh, no, no, I love you. I've never, ever, ever felt this way in my life. Right? Because they need it. They can't just go find new supply and have it be a romp in the hay. And maybe they'll have those also intertwined, but they absolutely need a base, an anchor, a home base, someone they can call a girlfriend, a wife, an anchor, so that they can do all of their bad things to someone. If they're doing all these bad things and they're not anchored to anybody, will anybody hear it? It's like if a tree falls in the woods, does anybody hear it? If they're doing all the bad things and acting that way and there's no one to triangulate or gaslight or love bomb in between the bad things, does it count? They would feel empty just being a player like that because there's nobody that's suffering for their art. There's no one that they're having at home crying, and they get a charge out of all that. So that's the answer, I think. They can't be a player. They have to have more in their life, even if the more isn't real to you or to them. It's something that they have that they can work off of, work from. You follow what I'm saying? Chin up, my friends.